my name is Sarah Reyes. I am 32 years old. 4 months ago, 2 officers in dress uniforms knocked on my front door. The moment I saw them standing there, something inside me already knew. They told me my husband, Captain Michael Reyes, had been killed during a classified operation overseas. His team had been ambushed. There was an explosion. According to the military, no one survived. For 4 months, I believed them. I cried every single day. I stopped eating. I stopped sleeping in our bed because his side felt too cold. Then last week, my sister called me. Her voice was shaking. "Sarah," she said, "come to my house right now. I need to show you something." And when I finally saw what was on her phone, my legs gave out beneath me. Before I tell you what she found, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tell me your country in the comments. I want to know where you're watching from. Now, let me start from the beginning. Michael and I had been married for 6 years. He was a captain in the army. Brave. Disciplined. The kind of man who made everyone around him feel safe. But to me, he was simply the man who knew exactly how I took my coffee. The man who left love notes inside my suitcase whenever he deployed. The man who promised me on our wedding day that no matter what happened, he would always find his way back to me. The day the officers came, I was folding laundry. I remember that detail because it felt so absurdly normal. I was wearing an old sweatshirt of his. The TV was playing some reality show I wasn't watching. Then I heard the knock. Not the casual knock of a neighbor. Not the rapid knock of a friend. The knock of men who have come to deliver news you don't want to hear. I opened the door and saw 2 soldiers standing on my porch. Their faces were carefully neutral. Professional. But their eyes told me everything before they said a single word. Mrs. Reyes, the taller one, began. "May we come inside?" I didn't invite them in. I couldn't move. "Where is my husband?" I asked. They spoke carefully. Respectfully. They told me Michael's unit had been on a reconnaissance mission near the border. Intel had been wrong. They walked into an ambush. There was an explosion. According to the report, no one survived. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. It felt like someone had reached inside my chest and squeezed my heart until it stopped. I remember grabbing the door frame just to stay standing. The officers kept talking, something about honor, sacrifice, the flag that would be delivered, but I didn't hear any of it. I only heard 4 words. He didn't survive. After they left, I closed the door and stood in the hallway for what felt like an hour. Michael's jacket was still hanging on the hook. His boots were still by the door. Everything in the house looked exactly the same. Except he was gone. The first few weeks were a blur. Friends brought casseroles I couldn't eat. Relatives called with condolences I couldn't process. The military sent letters and medals, and a folded flag that I placed on our mantel. But at night, when the house went quiet, the grief became unbearable. I couldn't sleep in our bed without him. His side felt too cold. His pillow still smelled like his shampoo for the first few weeks. I refused to wash it. Some nights, I played his old voice messages just to hear his voice. "Hey, beautiful. Miss you. Coming home soon. Sarah, you won't believe what happened today. I love you. I'll always come back to you." But he didn't come back this time. At least, that's what I believed. I tried to be strong. I told myself Michael would want me to keep living. But moving forward felt like betrayal. How could I laugh again when he couldn't? How could I eat when he never would again? So I stopped trying. I stopped answering calls. I stopped leaving the house. I stopped eating meals and started drinking coffee just to feel something warm in my chest. 4 months passed like this. Slow, gray, endless days that all felt exactly the same. Until the afternoon my sister called. Emma is my younger sister. She's usually the loudest person in any room. The one who laughs too hard and talks too fast. But when I answered her call that afternoon, her voice sounded wrong. "Sarah," she said. "Where are you?" "Home," I replied. "Why?" There was a pause. The kind of pause that makes your stomach drop. "Sarah, I need you to come to my house right now." Her voice was shaking. "There's something I need to show you." "What is it?" I asked. "Just come. Please." The drive to Emma's house usually takes 15 minutes. That night, it felt like an hour. My mind raced through every possible explanation. Was Mom okay? Did something happen to Dad? Why wouldn't she just tell me? When I pulled into her driveway, Emma was already standing outside, waiting for me. Her face was pale. What's wrong? I asked as soon as I stepped out of the car. Emma didn't answer. She grabbed my hand and pulled me inside. We walked into her living room. She picked up her phone from the coffee table, held it tightly, took a breath. Then she turned the screen toward me. Sarah, she said quietly, you need to look at this. And the moment my eyes landed on the photo, my legs gave out. The man in the photo was sitting outside a small medical clinic. Behind him, mountains and a dusty road. He looked thinner than I remembered. His beard had grown long. There were bandages visible on his arm. But it was Michael. Same face. Same eyes. Same small scar above his left eyebrow, the one he got during training years ago when a piece of shrapnel nicked him. That's not possible, I whispered. My voice didn't sound like my own. The military told me he was dead. They said no one survived. But this man was Michael. Emma sat beside me. I know what you're thinking, she said softly. I thought the same thing. She zoomed in on the photo. Underneath the image, there was text. A post from a small humanitarian organization working near the border. It said the man had been found badly injured after a military operation 4 months ago. A local family had taken him in, helped him recover. He survived, I breathed. Emma nodded. It looks that way. For a moment, I didn't know what to feel. Hope and shock and fear and rage all collided inside my chest. If Michael was alive, the last 4 months of grief had been built on a lie. But why didn't he contact me? I stared at the screen. The post was uploaded 2 days ago, which meant Michael had been alive this entire time, somewhere across the ocean, while I was burying an empty casket at Arlington. We need to contact them, I said. Emma nodded. I already tried. No response yet. I typed a message myself. I explained who I was. I told them Michael was my husband, that the military had declared him dead. Then we waited. 45 minutes passed. Every second felt like an hour. Then a notification appeared. Emma grabbed the phone, opened the message. It read, yes. The soldier in the photo was found injured after a military mission 4 months ago. Multiple gunshot wounds. Severe trauma. He is stable now. Recovering. Michael was alive. I stood up so fast the room spun. I'm going, I said. Tomorrow. Emma looked at me. I'm coming with you. For the first time in 4 months, I felt something other than grief. I felt hope. 2 flights and an 8-hour drive later, we arrived at the small town the clinic had described. The building was simple. White walls. Blue roof. Mountains rising behind it like silent witnesses. My hands were shaking when the taxi stopped. This is it, Emma said softly. I couldn't speak. My throat was too tight. We walked inside. A nurse greeted us. When I told her why we were there, her expression softened. He's in the garden, she said. Out back. I pushed open the door and stepped outside. The garden was small, peaceful. Flowers I couldn't name growing along the fence. And sitting on a wooden bench, facing away from me, was Michael. Michael, I whispered. He turned his head slowly. His eyes met mine. And for one perfect second, I thought everything would be okay. Then he spoke. I'm sorry, he said. His voice was calm, gentle, but confused. Do I know you? Those 4 words hit me harder than the news of his death. For months of grief. 2 days of travel. 1,000 prayers whispered on airplanes. And he didn't recognize me. Later, a doctor explained what had happened. During the ambush, Michael had been thrown from a vehicle. The explosion caused severe head trauma, brain swelling, memory loss. His body had survived, but his memories, our memories, had been buried somewhere deep inside his injured mind. Sometimes, the doctor told me, memory can return if the person is surrounded by familiar people, familiar places, familiar sounds. So I decided to try. I had already lost him once. I wasn't going to lose him again. Every day for 3 weeks, I sat beside Michael and told him our story. I showed him our wedding photos. He studied them like a stranger's album. I took him to the village square where locals said he used to sit. He looked around with vague curiosity. I told him about the night he proposed on a beach, in the rain, with a ring he'd saved 3 months to buy. He was always kind, always patient. But his eyes still looked at me like I was a stranger. Some nights, I cried in my hotel room until I had nothing left. I started to wonder if I was being selfish. Maybe his old life was gone. Maybe I needed to let him go. But then, on the 23rd day, something happened. We were sitting in the village square. The sun was setting behind the mountains. Children were laughing somewhere in the distance. I don't know why I started humming. It just came out. It was the lullaby Michael's mother used to sing to him when he was a child. He told me about it on our first date. Years later, she taught me the words. At first, Michael didn't react. He just sat there, staring at the mountains. But then his breathing changed. His hands, resting on his knees, began to tremble. He turned his head slowly. And this time, when his eyes met mine, they weren't empty. "Sarah," he said. His voice cracked on my name. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then Michael pulled me into his arms. He held me so tightly I could barely breathe. But I didn't care. We both started crying. Not quiet tears. The kind of tears that come from months of pain and fear and desperate hope finally breaking free. I remember, he whispered into my hair. I remember everything. He remembered our wedding. Our inside jokes. The way I took my coffee. The promise he made on our wedding day. The doctors don't know if his memory will fully return. Some days are better than others. Some moments, he still looks at me like he's trying to solve a puzzle. But he knows my name now. He knows that I'm his wife. And he knows that for 4 months, I never stopped believing he would find his way back to me. My name is Sarah Reyes. 4 months ago, the military told me my husband was dead. I buried an empty casket. I cried until I had no tears left. I accepted a folded flag that I still keep on our mantle, but my sister found a photograph. And that photograph led me across the ocean to a man who didn't remember my name. Sometimes love isn't about grand gestures or perfect endings. Sometimes it's about showing up. Every single day. Even when the person you love looks at you like a stranger. Because the heart remembers what the mind forgets. And if you're lucky, love finds its way back. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tell me your country in the comments. Where are you watching from? Thank you for listening.